Hi there cyber tankers, this is Gamer Dom, taking a look at another slightly unusual tank. This is the American M4 improved Tier 5 premium medium tank. It was given out, in the generosity of Wargaming. They sold it to us recently to mark the Armistice time. And like all M4s, it's it always attracts me. I quite like the M4 branch. There are some really interesting tanks in there. This one, I don't know what to think about it, to be absolutely honest. Its stats are pretty horrible, to be honest. But for some reason, I have quite good games in it. So, go figure. The biggest problem this tank has is this gun. 75mm M3 gun. It's quick firing, 15 rounds a minute is pretty good. Dispersion isn't too bad either. Aiming time is pretty horrible, but it's penetration that's the big problem. 92mm with armor piercing, and even 127 with APCR, it's just not good enough, really. Particularly since this tank can see up to tier 7s, and you're never going to penetrate things at tier 7 with 92mm of penetration, and even 127 you're going to struggle, especially since the aiming is pretty lousy. It's hard to hit. It's hard to hit weak spots. Positive things though, it is quite nimble. It's not as fast as the standard M4, but it's pretty good. And it does have a little bit of armour, you can see. I mean, this was the basic premise of this tank, not that it was ever developed, but there was basically to take an M4 and to put better armour on it. So it's well sloped. It's good turret armour really for a tier 7, for a tier 5. 76mm frontal armour, only 50 in the hull, but because of this sloping you will bounce a few shots, particularly if you can manage to angle it. It also has a very good hull side armour of supposedly 63. Now it's not 63 right across the whole board, but it's pretty good. So if you can angle it, do a bit of side scraping against sort of tier 5s, possibly tier 6s, although your chance of your arm a bit there, you've got a chance of bouncing a few shots, and that's kind of fun. It's got a good view range. That's another good thing about this. For a tier 5 tank, base range is 370. I've got coated optics on this, which brings me up to 426, which is really useful because when you are in those higher tier games, I find that because you're really not going to pen anything with this gun, not unless you can get around the flanks, at least you can be useful to your team by scouting and by spotting. So it's actually, I have to say, pretty much all my medium tanks I like to put coated optics on it. I think it just adds that little bit of extra experience from spotting that's invaluable. Also gun rammer, of course. I mean, it's a fast shot on this gun anyway, 15 rounds a minute, but by putting the gun rammer, you just put that on every time. And I put vents on just as another thing, because it gives everything an improvement in all its skills. So it's a bog standard Sherman with a weaker gun, and slightly better armor. Not that the Sherman had any armor to speak of either. But as I say, it kind of works, and it is actually a very good credit generator, which is the important thing with your premium tanks. So let's have a quick look and see what we can do with it. Taking a while to find something. Okay, so we got a good matchup this time. So it's a tier 5 match, Melanovka, which I actually like as a map. I know some people hate it, but I quite like this. Someone's obviously bought the new French, or the French arty, the Lefebvre, which is a fabulous arty if you like arty. OP in my opinion, but what do I know? So we're top tier, and therefore we can afford to be a little bit more aggressive with this tank. So I'm going to head over. The problem I have with this tank at the moment is I don't have Sixth Sense. I'm using it to train up another medium American crew at the moment. So while they're all 100%, the commander hasn't got Sixth Sense yet, which is a little bit of a challenge. You have to assume that you're always being spotted. You can't afford to take any risks at all. So it's fire and move, which is, you know, a good principle for anybody, to be absolutely honest, when you're playing a lot of tanks, particularly in a medium, for that matter, and pretty much any tank. But mediums and TDs, you need to fire and move. So we're looking quite slow at moving everybody forward here, so it's a little bit worrying. Our heavy tanks are all hanging back, which is great, and our TDs seem to be trying to take the hill. So I'm taking an advanced spotting position here. I'm going to sit here and see what I can see for a bit. Now if you see my spots will allow me to see anything that's heading up over the up the hill. Anything heading along the A line I should be able to see. It doesn't look like there's anybody up there because our tanks have got that far. That Panzer 1C is all the way up at B9, hasn't seen a thing. T-267's up there as well, not seen anything. There's our first target. See the sidle armour of that thing, we can do some damage. Critical that time, was a bit of a shame. See if that is inconsiderate to stop there. Now the shells are quite low velocity, so they tend to loop a fair bit, if you notice. Let's see if I can. Not accurate at all. It's one of the problems with this tank. It's not accurate. That was a very hopeful shot. And we're 4 tanks down. Oh good. Gonna move back here. I've no idea whether I'm spotted, but I didn't get shot at then, so what are those heavies doing? That's a good idea, boys. Just run straight into the middle and see what you can see. Pull back because I must have been spotted there. And there are 2 RT in play. Side armour, you can pen these things. Frontally, you're going to struggle, frankly. Right, I'm going to try and support our stupid heavies, just because they're idiots and gone that far forward doesn't mean I can't support them in some way. Okay, there's a 67. Let the shot go down. Look at that loop on that shot. It's like firing HE. Don't think I've got any chance. Even with a looping shot like that, I can't get a shot on him. The shell's very low velocity, so it does loop. Let's push forward, support those heavies. Oh dear, someone just got that one of our heavies out of the way. Oh, we can get that KV. Put a bit of premium in because I think we're going to need it. He's looking at me. See if I'm firing to the side of Even with premiums, it's really hard to pen him. Got him. Missed him. So, again, it's the challenge is, as I say, it's a low velocity gun. Which has very little penetration. So firing at things on the move or long range is really hard. But if you can get flanks, like you should do really, to be honest, in all mediums you should be looking to get to the flank. Use your use cover where you can. Ah, it's a waste. Shit, I've got premium loaded, that's not good. TD, let's have a go for it. TD. Got him. That's good. Okay, looks like our base is in trouble. We have to go back. Don't want to lose this game because actually we've had a not bad round there. 1000 damage. Only took one hit. That was from the KV. Can I get a shot on that thing over there? See, watch this loop. Didn't even get anywhere close to it. Looks like the M4 is going for arty. Oh, someone is in the base. Okay. So, who's in the base? I wonder. SU, now he's tricky. It's a hit. Another hit. No idea whether I penned him there. There we go. Where did that shot go? Oh, because we ran out of time. Okay, so there you go. That's the M4 improved. It's got no penetration, but if you can get a flank, and it has got enough mobility to get a flank on people. Blimey, ace tanker. So what do we get there? Ace tanker, bruiser, duelist, all those medals, and a high caliber. We finished top, 1,600 damage, very nice. 4 kills, over 1,000 XP, which is lovely. Now you see I used a fair bit of APCR. So my costs were expensive, but even then I made 23,000 credits, which for a tier 5 premium is not bad at all. It was very nice for my ×3 for the day, because it's ×3 this weekend, and I made nice 5,000 experience, which is going to do great things for this this crew that I'm training up. I don't know what I'm going to put it in yet, but it's at the moment it's the improved crew still in there. Now, I guess you guys already know this, but just in case you don't, you can put any standard crews into a premium tank of the same type and it'll operate absolutely fine. So this improved tank, because it is a premium, I could put any American medium tank crew in there and they would operate with perfect ability, without any kind of negatives at all. And they would generate extra experience, sorry, not revenue. So what that means is you can, on a day like today where it's ×3, you could do your ×3 with the crew in the premium and then swap it back into the original tank and do a ×3 there. Every premium gets an extra amount of revenue. I keep saying revenue, got money on the brain. Extra amount of premium bonus for being a premium. See on this tank, I got 622 because it's a premium, which means your crews train up much quicker. And obviously, if you're putting them in a premium tank and their standard tank each time, and getting your ×2s or ×3s or whatever we've got, you're going to get your crew trained up an awful lot quicker. So you generate more credits, which is lovely. You also generate more experience, and that's really the reason for having a premium. Anyway, that's my little look at the M4 improved. As I say, it's not a brilliant tank by any means, but it's not a bad tank. I've seen some terrible people absolutely slating it on YouTube, and I can understand why. I think again it's just one of those things that you either like or you don't. I like the M4s. My win rate in this is 61%. I've only played 18 games, but you know, I said before, as a Joe average player, and I can get that kind of win rate out of it. I'm doing a fair amount of damage each time, getting a lot of kills. I get a lot of top 5 finishes in this thing. So, and that's mainly down to the fact this gun can keep firing, but it does need to be a little bit closer than you would expect. Sniping with it is really, really tough. You have to get very lucky. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please like the video, and if possible subscribe, because I'm just starting out on this, and it'd be nice to get some regular viewers. And if you've got any feedback, please give me a shout. Anyway, this is Gamer Dom. I'll see you again. Cheers.